do not necessarily represent those of Revive FM or its management.
Good afternoon and welcome to the Mahtab Aziz Celebrity Lawyer Show. I'm here with my co-host, John Talamini.
Guilty.
Hi, John.
Hi.
How are you doing?
Good, thank you.
Right.
Excited to be here tonight. Wow.
I know you'd be excited because we had the London Fashion Week last week. I'm sure you've got plenty to say.
Oh, we have Milan, Paris Fashion Week. Yes, Matt. Oh, and I have got two incredible people on air tonight for the world to listen to and to share what they have to say.
Great. Please introduce your first guest today.
Thank you. Our first guest, Naomi Galloway Smith.
Hello.
Now, hello.
Hi.
How you doing, Naomi?
I'm pretty good. How are you?
Oh, your eyes are looking great. How did you your orange color on your eyes, as everyone can see, is that your color or as somebody
eyeshadow? Yeah.
Nice. Okay. Now, Naomi, I know you as Matt, your godmother, Farzana. Thank you. And I hope she's well climbing K2. You are, I find this intriguing. You're a game designer and also an up-and-coming model. How does code segue into modeling?
Well, I've had a lot of influence from my parents. So, for instance, my dad has been into computer science since I can remember. And my stepmom, who has also been into making her own fashion, that combining has created a love for fashion and for game design, which I want to do both of.
Okay. I'm going to stop and go into my head. You said stop gaming into fashion. NFT just jumped into my head.
Oh, yeah.
Now, as a gamer, how do we promote, propose, go forward on NFTs? What do you say as a new visualist making it happen?
NFT is basically a subject of what you can do with it, because there's a lot of people who can either be very successful within it or not so successful. And I think the key of getting far is to create something unique and not seen before.
Okay, so I get bored with a cat digital going across the screen in analog. How would you take that? I call it boring and just like ... going forward and NFT in what you're seeing as a model. How would you see, and as a visualist and as a code writer, you got 3 jobs. That's scary. I only have 1. Wow. How do you take that going forward?
I like to keep all 3 quite separate. So coding comes into my university career, which will be combined with game development. You can't really go into the industry without having much of an idea of what coding is. Whilst I have always wanted to be a model, and having that as a separate career is a lot, but also having both of them combined into my lifestyle means I have so much more potential.
Sorry, could I just jump in there? For the benefit of our listeners and viewers, obviously, you managed to start your modeling career, but is it actually difficult getting into modeling? How does one actually get into that process in the first place?
It's more of who you know rather than what you know, I'd say. It is quite difficult.
I'd agree.
It is quite difficult. And honestly, as long as you have the confidence and understand that no matter who pokes at you and who puts you down, that you know that you're beautiful inside and out.
Right.
And I feel like you need a headspace where you're comfortable with realizing that if somebody rejects you, it's not your fault. They just don't want you.
Right. So
if I may jump in, my late wife, to Mara Latundra, working actor, well known, she said the same thing. She said, your cornflakes or Rice Krispies.
Right.
So what you said, Naomi, earlier, if they don't like your look, to all the viewers and listeners out there, it's not the fact that you're bad, you haven't done anything wrong. It's just they wanted cornflakes instead of Rice Krispies.
Exactly.
Yes.
So you're absolutely right. And if I may say that we've put Naomi forward to our fellow colleagues and teams at IMG Models globally. And they look at Naomi's photos, they see what she looks like, and I'm sure it's something that we go forward. Now, you also have a favorite model or two, or no, wrong word. You have a favorite designer or two that you'd like to share.
I really enjoy Alexander McQueen.
Okay.
The way that they go around the representation of their dress is exquisite. I love how they're completely wild with their designs. They're not your usual designer. They're very out there and not powerful. I'd say different, unique, and when you see them on the runway, amazing. It's like being in a fairy tale.
I see. Sure. So there is this issue of personal preference as well. Probably, if you're chosen to, a fashion model for Alexander McQueen, you probably feel sort of better doing it. Probably.
Yeah, definitely.
Something that you like. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Right. Okay. And so, Chris, quickly ask. I mean, in terms of other types of modeling, I mean, are you specifically into fashion modeling, or there are other types? We've seen adverts or commercials and so on, and that sort of thing. Are they sort of things which you don't really consider, or are you strictly a fashion model? Or
I think modeling comes in different forms, but my love is for fashion. Fashion is, you see it every single day. It's the artwork that you don't see enough of.
Right.
You walk down the street, you see someone in jeans and a little puffer jacket, and you think fashion. So I primarily want to be in the fashion industry, but I do count commercial, etc., as modeling. It's just not the path I want to go down.
Oh, sure. Great.
So you're thinking more of being an editorial.
Yes.
Okay, rather than, because there's two different genres. There's editorial and catalog.
Yes.
I can definitely see you as an editorial model, and what you're there to wear the clothes that a viewer will embrace.
Absolutely.
Rather than sell the clothes that someone will go and buy.
Yes.
That's something that you want to do.
Absolutely, yes.
Okay. And Matt, as you know, we are, and to our viewers out there in the world, hello, world, Naomi is, thank you, supported by Canon cameras. Thank you, Rich. Having Naomi do various editorial shots and other things that we can send to our friends at Vogue, L'Amour, Marie Claire, Julie, Grazia, everything else. Yes.
Well, I know you're going to be very humble about it, John. But you work with the supermodels. Everyone knows yourself.
Humbly on the record, as we shared the last time I was on camera, when I was a student at NYU, Johnny Casablancas from Elite Models was this new agency. I left Ford Models as a shooter. I was one of the first videographers for Elite. And we shot this young little 16-year-old girl called Cindy with a mole on her, right here on her lip.
Right.
And she was 16, feet like a puppy.
Right.
And we did Elite Models Look of the Year.
Right.
At the end of the day, it was Cindy Crawford.
Yes.
She didn't get rid of her mole. And we're still friends. Thank you, Joey Hunter. in the world. And thank everyone that we've done. And her daughter, Kaya, still looks like mom. And I go back to those days, which is when we were with and sharing with Rankin, the other night that we had a chat with was more analog versus digital.
Right.
And where we didn't know in those days who was going to be special. I mean, I was sweeping floors at Andy Warhol's factory with Lou Reed, who embraced me to become a bass player.
He was walking on the wild side at the time.
Yes, and I played with David Bowie. So it was
Sure.
those days.
Right.
Going back to the fashion and everything, and just going back into the days where you didn't know of influencers. Now I'm challenged by influencers, and it's just, I'm nobody, no disrespect influencers, of 20 million people follow me, and so what? I was with Edie Sedgwick, Bowie, Lou Reed, everything else, and we became part of that new world where I'm challenged by the social media, where you just go click, 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 and you really don't have that passion, influence, and taking yourself forward and making things different. As Naomi is now doing, is what she shared.
Yeah.
It's like, if I may, it's, do you like Twitter chatter and tweaking, pipping, thingy?
Social media?
Yeah.
I used to when I was younger, but as I've gotten older, I've come to dislike it a lot more.
Right.
Yeah. Twitter is a little bit, it's a you either like it or you don't kind of situation.
And many people have unfortunately bitten the dust because of a wrong choice of word.
Yes.
It's just one of those things, you got to be very careful about what you say on Twitter.
Very true.
I know. Somebody told me earlier.
Yeah.
I was in a conversation and somebody licked a what do you call it? They licked a donut, and whoever this person was, I don't know what it was, and somebody said something, and they were like, their 20 million followers are now nothing. I don't understand it because, as you know, Matt, Carlos Souza at Valentino, my mentor, Mr. Valentino, Pier Paolo, Maria Grazia, my mentors at Valentino, and we have embraced that camaraderie. We embrace that joie de fait of who we are and what we do. Because I lick a donut, 20 million people don't like me. I'm really confused. And not to sound like an old timer, I kind of challenge that. What do you think, Naomi?
Well, cancel culture.
Yes.
I guess it depends on the situation, because the donut licking situation, you can see there's two sides to every story. And unless you've heard both sides and have a conclusion in the middle, it's very hard to have your own opinion.
Sure.
Because sometimes you're not educated enough to have an opinion. But sometimes I do see people online who have been cancelled for ridiculous things. And it's gotten to a stage now where it's hard to be on the internet. It's very hard to be on the internet.
That's right. Yes, but unfortunately, because some issues, if someone sort of says something, and it may be very easily taken out of context.
Of course.
And this is the problem. So that's why I sort of tend to stay away from Twitter if I can.
Yeah.
No, well, I think stay away from Twitter. Matt Morris from the Evening Standard, Ben from ES Magazine, Emily Sheffield, she's on Twitter every day, and we talk and whatnot. I'll answer her and I'll go there. I find the genre important, and I also find it challenging, because how do you separate the, oh, hello, I'm somebody special, to the information and the word that you want to share? What do you think? Naomi, back to you. Your generation. Come on. You guys are in this now.
Yeah. I don't know. I can't really speak for my generation because I feel very, very separated from that generation. Sometimes people misspeak on what they want to say, especially when they're trying to get a point across. Sometimes it comes across completely incorrect, and the internet's very easily influenced. So somebody said something and someone else said, no, they meant this. The entire internet will take the other person's side. So I feel like it is very important to be careful what you put out there.
Yes.
Because there's a lot of backlash, no matter what you do, no matter what you post, there's someone watching.
Could you give me an example? In a positive, not naming names.
Okay.
You know, like an example, like the donut thing that we talked about earlier.
Yeah, of course.
You know, and how? I'm confused.
There are a lot of for goodness me, there's so many examples on the internet. I grew up with the internet, so influencers like PewDiePie and other streamers have said things on stream and they've gone completely out of context. But like as an example off the top of my head, I can't come up with one. But I do know that there's been so many streamers, especially Twitch streamers, who have had people come out of the woodworks and like past girlfriends, etc. Who have said false things on Twitter. And the problem with Twitter is there's this culture where a lot of people take somebody's opinion and takes it as truth. And I know of one streamer who had, unfortunately, their reputation ruined because somebody made a false tweet. And that will stick with them forever. And that's the issue, is we don't think about both people in the situation. We think of the one person. They necessarily aren't telling the truth.
Oh yes, definitely. I mean, we were speaking about Whoopi Goldberg. I mean, she had to lose a lot of money because of that statement that she put out about the Holocaust, and she was very much vilified. But it's just one example. But you have to be very careful. But I detect a wise head on young shoulders there, John. Don't you think?
Sorry, what?
I detect a wise head on young shoulders with Naomi.
Thank you. I grew up with very good influences.
Right, that's great. Were you from like the north?
I'm from Carlisle in Cumbria, north West England.
Right. Okay, very nice. Well, I think they must have a lot of sensible people out there, I think.
Yes, a few, handful.
Right. Okay, that's great. Right. Well, we're coming up to our first break now, and we'll go for the break, and I think after the break, will the other guests be joining us? And then we're going to have
we've got Elwyn Jones, one of our UAL photography students, and going forward.
Right.
And then after the break, I'd like to bring Naomi back.
Yes.
As a rebuttal.
Yes.
On just seeing what she does now. As I cannot believe you're actually a code writer. You're more grown up than I am. My word, you like. Say yes, you like write code, and you're also soon to be a top model.
Right.
Wow.
Multi-talented.
Not multi-talented. It's like, excusez-moi, je vis. You know, I'm not going to go into French. It's just really incredible.
Impressive.
And yes, and what you can do, and also can take what you're doing as in the analog you're writing, what you're doing, and then soon to be as a model on everything and analog, and what you can give to your generation, not mine. Mine's Cindy, Naomi, who's still not a nice person. Let's not go there. And Kate and everything, and Linda and everyone. Yes. On what you can bring and share to all of our listeners around the world.
Sure.
What is possible, because you have this year's new look. Well, I know it, and sponsored by Canon.
Great.
They like the look as well.
Excellent. Okay, we'll go for a break now, and we could be back shortly.
Okay.
Through Minhaj Welfare Foundation, your giving saves lives. Your support has provided more than 3 million people with access to clean and safe water. Emergency relief in natural disaster and crisis-affected areas around the world. Supported orphans and needy children with a better future. This year, your help can do more. Donate your zakat, sadaqah, and charitable donations to any of your chosen projects. Call us now, 0300 30 30 777, or visit us on minhajwelfare.org.
Through your hands, we can shape the future. By supporting an orphan, by quenching someone's thirst, by empowering people through life-changing livelihood projects, by responding to those in urgent need. The future lies in your hands. Muslim hands, united for the needy.
Thinking about selling or letting your home? With Maxwell Estates, you don't need to look any further. Well established with over 15 years of experience, Maxwell Estates are specialists in residential sales and lettings. We manage over 200 properties in and around Northwest London, keeping our landlords and tenants updated with all the latest laws and legislations. Based in Edgware, our experienced specialist negotiators always ensure we maximize the full potential of your property. Call us now on 0208 952 0808 for a free no-obligation quotation, or visit our website www.maxwellestates.co.uk for further information. Maxwell Estates, the name you can trust.
If you want to advertise your business on Revive FM, then visit www.revivefm.co.uk. Alternatively, contact our sales team now on 079 44 56 5616. That's 079 44 56 5616.
Waris Food Store, the place to go for all your meat and groceries. We stock thousands of items from fresh fruit and veg to all your favourite Ramadan food products. Based at 420 Hoe Street in Walthamstow, we can deliver anything you need right to your doorstep. Just give us a call on 0208 521 0000. Waris Food Stores is now also available on Uber Eats.
Taj Grill invites you to the world of Pakistani cuisine. With every dish prepared to perfection, why not try our sizzling mixed grill, our famous masala fish, or choose from our selection of freshly made curries and allow the Taj Grill experience to speak for itself. Visit us at 72 Ilford Lane or 508 Ilford High Road, or call 0208 262 6476. We also offer catering for all your events. Call us for more information.
Nikah, Talaq, counseling on matrimonial disputes, Islamic wills, Islamic law of inheritance, or an Islamic verdict on any other issue. The Muslim Sharia Council is at your service. We provide official certification, and our experienced and highly qualified imams are available to provide you with guidance when needed. MQI London is based at 292 to 296 Romford Road, Forest Gate. We are open from Monday to Friday, 2 to 4 p.m. or alternatively, call us now on 0208 257 1786.
Revive FM
94.0. On the radio,
on your mobile,
and online.
And welcome back to the Mahtab Aziz Celebrity Lawyer Show. And before the break, we had young Naomi, great multi-talented model.
Naomi Galloway Smith, absolutely.
Yeah.
And what was really, Matt, what was really a designer in gaming and also soon to be one of Modem Q's top models.
Amazing.
It's like way out of my league, yes. And it was absolutely incredible. And now we have Elwyn Jones, photographer, ingenue, that I met at UAL last Saturday during London Fashion Week, or 2 Saturdays ago. And Elwyn, I found her eye, her style.
I thought Elwyn was a model.
No, shooter.
She's a photographer.
No. She's a shooter.
What's going on?
No, she's an absolute shooter. And we were talking earlier. Of this ever-changing world that we live in.
Yes.
Ella and I were talking about how she was influenced by Schiaparelli.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, when I first got into photography, it was a bit of a funny story. I wasn't supposed to do photography at all. I was supposed to go to a sixth form, do history, big subject, and I suddenly had this decision. No, I'm going to go to the community college, do photography. Parents were a bit shocked, doing something, not a stable career.
Sure.
But I wouldn't change it for the world. It's something I absolutely adored doing.
Yeah.
And I found passion in eccentric ideas, innovative ideas. That's why I loved Schiaparelli's designs. One of the many designs that I love.
Right.
And yeah, I think just having that passion. I've always been surrounded by creativity in my household as well.
To our listeners, okay, who want to, and again, we have to say, Modem Q and Matt, we are supported by Canon Camera, and we've had this conversation. Elwin, we've had this conversation of being supported by camera. How do you have a shoot, you have something, you wake up in the morning, cup of tea, a cup of coffee. Me, I usually have either a vodka and tonic or scotch, never mind. How do you just prepare? And then as you go into that shoot with your eye, and is it a storyboard? Do you read a script, or are you just there to seize the moment? How do you do it?
It depends, really. I'm super organized. So generally, the thing that makes me most comfortable is about a week before the shoot, if I have time, of course. Everything will be planned to the T. I love listening to music. Music generally helps me envision ideas. And I also ask my models during the shoot, what's your favorite song? Because then they move along.
Do you have a favorite song?
It depends on my mood, to be honest.
Give me the first music in your head.
Oh,
I'm Bowie.
To be honest, unpopular opinion, I love classical music, but contemporary classical music.
Well done. Okay.
Ludwika Einaudi, because I play the piano as well.
Oh, really?
So again,
Chopin fan.
Chopin's very good. I do agree. Chopin's amazing.
Okay.
Very complicated, but I love his piano pieces.
Sure.
Yes.
Okay, so now that you've got classical music, Schiaparelli. I'll ask about Paolo Reversi in a second. So you have all of this, and you're getting ready with classical music, being on set with your models.
Yes.
What's next?
So I always have a mood board. I always have an idea. Generally, the idea comes at 3 a.m. I'm asleep. I'm already in bed, and it just randomly comes, and I have to get up, draw it up, and that's the best ones.
Sure. So if I could ask you to just put your microphone down a bit, a bit more. That's fine. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you. That's great. Thank you.
Okay.
Carry on. Sorry.
No, it's okay.
Yes, sir.
So sorry, can you ask the question again?
Yes, of course I can.
Just kind of what happens on the
We're only live, going out to how many millions of people. Hello, world. We're here. And Elwin Jones is definitely photographer of this year's choice. Thank you, County.
Sorry, your name is not a very common name. How do you actually, where does it originate from?
So my dad's Welsh, so it's a Welsh name, means purity, and my mum's Russian, so my nickname's Ailey, which is easier for her to pronounce, and then Ailwen is my full name, and I like to introduce myself as Ailwen as well, because it's something that sticks, I guess.
Oh, of course.
I really like it.
Oh, sure. Well, Jones is a very, very common Welsh name.
Yes. My name's not Welsh. Please. When I went to school, my mum had to write my last name on a piece of paper because I couldn't spell it, and the nuns wouldn't beat me up. Going back to your question on how do you prepare, and as what you do as a visualist and as a photographer, how do you move things forward?
I think also really talking to the team, especially the models. I really don't believe in the whole thing of your model is a mannequin. They are a human being. And so I spend a lot of time talking to the models before the shoot, listening to their story, because although I have a concept, I want them to be on board with it. And I always say it before the shoot, if you want to stop, if you're not comfortable with doing a pose, you're cold, you want a food, you want a break, your word is the final word.
Right.
And it creates such a beautiful story, and it creates levels. So yes, I have my story that I want to perceive, or a garment I have to sell. But when the model connects, it's something really beautiful. And that's kind of what happens, really.
So your style is really an inspiration when you're on set. It's really more of a one-on-one.
Yes.
It's not so much as a mannequin, it's much more as a person. And you're the shooter and the stylist as you take things forward.
Yeah. Everybody has their opinion.
Yeah.
Sometimes they may not be the opinions that you want to hear, but I think it's extremely important to listen to other people's perspectives.
Sure.
Because it creates a great understanding. And then fashion in general, I think, is more than just the garment.
Yeah.
Somebody had to make the idea. Somebody had to make the clothing. It's hours upon hours.
Right.
And it's a far bigger thing than what the ordinary person just sees in the magazine. And I think having these different perspectives makes it so much more special. So that's why I kind of...
That's interesting. As a creative, embarking on this new, unique, post-COVID, Instagrammable world, how do you start?
Start as in...
Yes. How do you start as in, how do you see the model, you see the storyboard, you see this. What's that inspiration? What's the click?
I am obsessed with beautiful things. I think everything must be romanticized in life. And fashion photography to me is creating a fantasy of some kind. It's not real life. You can make it real life through the emotion of the model. But you are creating a dream. You're making a dream. You're trying to sell a dream. But that dream is so individual for each photographer. Everybody's got their own path, their own story. And I think, what I might think would look good in a shoot, somebody else might think, oh, that's not how I view the world. And that's why I think...
So your inspiration comes from your thought.
Yeah, I think everybody's own stories in life, their journeys, their experiences, it shapes how they create art because it comes from within. It's not just something that you can just pull out.
Elwyn, it's funny. When I interviewed Karl Lagerfeld years ago, Hilary Alexander from the Daily Telegraph said, Karl, when did you know you become a legend? He said, I was sitting on my piano at 4 years old, and my mother said I couldn't play it. So she said, you should become more visual. Not that you had mentioned earlier, piano playing. And and I won't grab Karl's mom here now. And it's just something where I'm curious, as playing the piano, as going forward, as a visualist, and what you're doing as a photographer, it all comes in your mind. Does it come together? And do you have like a genre, or does it form a concept, an idea?
I think it changes because, of course, if you're doing a commercial photography shoot for something, it's definitely going to be different than if you're doing an editorial. But having a very long history of arts in general, I think it's definitely shaped how I view the world and how I view what's beautiful, which again is super subjective.
Subjective, yeah, definitely. Something you might find very beautiful, John might think.
You might think, oh.
No, I find everything beautiful, and as we say in Italian, usually at the bottom of a bottle of wine.
Right.
Your inspiration, because what you said earlier is really kind of intense. No, really, it is.
Sorry.
No, please. Never apologize. Your friends don't want to hear it. Your enemies will never believe you. So from your inspirations, now we've gone to Schiaparelli. Now we talked about earlier, Paolo Roversi. I'll get to that in a second. Your inspirations, when you first picked up a camera, and what was the first thing you experienced looking through that little tiny hole in the lens like that? What did you feel?
I want to make sure that I represent the model, in a way that they want to be represented as well. So I will never make a model feel like they don't have to be themselves, which is why my casting is very specific. Generally, up till now, it's been a lot of street casting. and you feel an energy from somebody, and when you talk to them, you find that they match. So when I look through the lens, I want to make sure that this person is truly on board with what I'm doing. I always tell them exactly what they are doing. And if they're like, no, then we do something else. Totally fine. Super easy.
So that means you have to know a bit about them then, really. You need to know.
Absolutely.
So there's a lot of prep work in your work and your photography.
Yes, I find it a lot easier for myself if I have things a little bit more organized.
Sure.
But of course, on the day of the shoot, sometimes things go wrong, which is completely normal, but you need to be able to roll with the punches a little bit.
Right.
And, I've had some times where a model, they'd be happy with the concept and we get on the day of the shooting and they're like, I'm not feeling it today. And you have to think on the spot. You talk to them, sit down with them, have a conversation, and then you find a great middle ground. And they feel so much more comfortable and they feel like you care and you listen, because I do, of course.
Sure.
And you create a beautiful story just through their expression, just through their eyes. So I suppose when I do photographs, it's how do I make this person look at themselves in a beautiful way? How do they feel beautiful about themselves? Even if it's just a commercial shoot, they must feel empowered.
So you actually, as a visualist and a photographer, you catch them and make sure they don't fall.
Yeah, of course. I
you
support them.
Yes. You're always there, and with your inspiration into them and your thoughts of what they're doing, what you give them, just out of a bit of curiosity, what do they give you back? That genre of easiness, and how do they, just out of curiosity, as I do, put myself forward and say, it's easy, it's this, and this, and this. What do you get back? What do they give you back?
We create a safe space. And what's really special about that is, you don't just work with people, you become friends. Right. And I think that's more valuable than anything else, is when you truly feel like you understand somebody, you become friends. And then who knows, later on in the future, a model might cancel in the last minute, but you have this friend that you've worked with before, and they will come and help you because they know that you'll create that safe space for them.
Sure.
So I think it's more, I don't look at it as what do people give back to me? It's how can I be the best person for them, and how can I make the safest spot for them? And if anything comes
So
from
you
it.
lead everything forward because you're kind of like mother hen. And you look after your chicks.
I look after them. Of course, if you have a lot to do that day, you have to be assertive. But there's a difference between being assertive and being unnecessarily rude.
Yes,
I think that's what I try to avoid.
That's fine. I think obviously being a photographer, you probably seen that the expression on a person's face can really dictate how they come out in the photograph. So you're probably an expert in expressions, probably.
Yeah, I mean, everything's exaggerated on the camera.
Yeah.
So if they're feeling ever so tense, it shows so much. And so that's, I think, another thing. When you get to know somebody, they just relax and everything goes great. And they're more happy to make silly faces and smiles. And but you get the Mona Lisa smile, I think. When people are a bit tense, you can tell it's like not a smile, but it's not a straight face.
Yes.
And that's when you have to like pull them to the side and go, do you want a cup of tea?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Because I remember seeing this YouTube video of this a defendant who was a female. Unfortunately, she'd been charged with murder. But the expressions she made became viral, because she was sitting in the courtroom and she'd make these sort of strange expressions and she became viral. So that just shows that even if you're a sort of a person suspected of murder, people can forget about the murder. It's just that attraction they see in your expression.
Definitely.
It's very powerful.
Yes.
Yeah.
Tell me when we spoke earlier this evening before we went on air. We talked about Schiaparelli, and we also talked about Paolo Roversi. Tell me of how he's influenced you or work, or where would you take that as a new photographer, sharing with everyone? And again, thank you, Canon. We're always going to get a camera here. How would you take that forward?
So I recently did a project which was about diversity and inclusivity and how you can relate that to your own experiences. And that's how I discovered Paolo. there's just a way that he photographs the model, which I personally love. In his interviews, he talks about how he also sits down with his models and he completely strips back all these masks that you might present in your day-to-day life, which is normal.
Sure.
And I really love that because the expressions of those models, it's nothing short of spectacular. I feel like you really connect with his images because although they might be the most stunning, supermodels in the world, they all have the same feelings inside. We are all the same on the inside. Even the most incredible supermodels in the world would be insecure, and he strips all of that back.
Right.
And even Naomi Campbell, I remember listening to an interview with her talking about a shoot with him, and she says that I felt naked completely. I have all these wigs and masks up, and when I shoot with him, I felt raw, and that's, I think, is so beautiful because you truly get to understand his point of view on how he sees beauty and how the model then views themselves. So that's what I love about his work. There's so many layers. It's not just a photo. It's not cliche. There's a true meaning and an emotion behind them.
Great. So taking what you just said, you, as a new visualist, you knew, as we met, knew at Fashion Week, UAL, and art teams at UAL. What's next for you? What is your Paolo moment, if I may ask?
Well, as in where would I be? Where would I hope to be in the next years?
What are you looking at shooting, and how are you looking at going forward? And I have a Harry Potter's magic wand, and and
I mean, in the ideal world, I would love to be working with campaigns, being commissioned for brands, and share my perspective, because I think it's a pretty cool one. I think it's new, it's different. As the third culture kid as well, I think it allows a lot of people to see what it feels like to live in between.
Sure.
And
you said third culture kid. I don't know what that means.
So a third culture
That's like
kid,
a scary word. I'm old school. Sorry. I'm going to write that down. Third culture kid.
A third culture kid is a person that lives between more than two cultures. So for me, I lived between Wales, Russia, and England. In England, I was too Russian to be, and also with my Russian family, I've got Ukrainian too.
I hear the booze coming up. I wonder why.
My granddad is Ukrainian. I've got lots of family. But yeah, I live between the two. Whenever I go there, I'm not Russian or Eastern European at all. I'm British, but here I'm not British. I'm Eastern European. So you live in this kind of middle ground.
Yes.
And that's what it is.
Of course.
Yes.
Unfortunately, we're coming to the next break now, John. So would you like to wrap up this part of the program?
I'd like everyone to look at Elwyn's site, what she's doing. How do we find your site?
So it's www.ailwenjones, which is EILWENJONES.com. So there's my
perfect. And let's see what we can do and go forward and make sure that your third culture, I'm like 19 cultures, please. I'm like schizophrenic. Yes, so we can definitely find Elwyn online, on site, and how we can go forward.
Great. Well, thank you very much, Elwyn. I mean, you've got another very young, talented lady. You're doing very well, John, today. My goodness, where do you get all these talented people from?
I have an eye for talent and an eye for beauty.
Great.
And I'm told.
Okay. Thank you very much, Elwyn. So we're going for a break now, and we'll be back in a short while.
Thank you.
If you want to advertise your business on Revive FM, then visit www.revivefm.co.uk. Alternatively, contact our sales team now on 07944 56 5616. That's 07944 56 5616.
Thinking about selling or letting your home? With Maxwell Estates, you don't need to look any further. Well established with over 15 years of experience, Maxwell Estates are specialists in residential sales and lettings. We manage over 200 properties in and around Northwest London, keeping our landlords and tenants updated with all the latest laws and legislations. Based in Edgware, our experienced specialist negotiators always ensure we maximize the full potential of your property. Call us now on 0208 952 0808 for a free no obligation quotation, or visit our website www.maxwellestates.co.uk for further information. Maxwell Estates, the name you can trust.
Looking to get your finances in order? MR Accountants has you covered. We provide a full range of accountancy and taxation services, including annual and management accounts, self-assessment tax returns, VAT, bookkeeping, and payroll services. We ensure you're kept up to date with the latest legislation, and our client-focused approach helps us plan your business finances from savings to investments. We are MR Accountants. Visit our website at mraccountants.com or call us on 0203 432 9138.
मिनहाज वेलफेयर फाउंडेशन में आपका अतिया जिंदगी की उम्मीद आपकी मदद से मुमकिन हुआ। दुनिया भर में 30 लाख से ज्यादा खवातीन, बुजुर्गों और बच्चों तक साफ पानी की फ्राहमी, मुतासरा इलाकों में हंगामी इमदाद, यतीम और बेसहारा बच्चों की दादरसी। इस साल हम आपके ताउन से और आगे बढ़ना चाहते हैं। अपनी ज़कात, सदकात और खैरात के जरिए इन मंसूबों का हिस्सा बनिए। अभी कॉल कीजिए 0300 3030 777 या हमारी वेबसाइट विजिट करें www.minhajwelfare.org.
Minhaj School of Islamic Sciences provides quality Islamic education for children aged between 5 and 15 years old. As well as teaching classical Islam, including Tajweed, Fiqh, Seerah, and Aqidah, we endeavour to equip children with essential Islamic manners, morals, and values. Here at MSIS, our experienced teachers create an inspirational learning environment where we strive to cater for the needs of every child. For enrolment inquiries, inquire in person at Minhaj School of Islamic Sciences, Monday to Friday, 5 to 7 p.m. at 292-296 Rumford Road, or email admin.edu_London@minhajuk.org.
Does your pizza excite you? The London Pizza Depot invites you on a journey with our worldwide inspired pizzas. To the smoke and jerk drums of Jamaica, to savor the Caribbean hot, to sunny California, to enjoy the greatest invention, the Cali cheeseburger. Transport yourself with every bite. Our authentically prepared hand-stretched dough, freshly diced veg, finest cuts of halal meat, and our 100% mozzarella cheese ensures the delivery of a masterpiece every time. Visit www.londonpizzadepot.co.uk or our branches in Ilford or Plaistow. Now you can enjoy buy one pizza, get one free every Tuesday. T's and C's apply.
A Sadqa Jariyah unlike any other. This year, Allah has blessed us with the incredible opportunity of illuminating the interior of the Dome of the Rock Masjid, the exact place where the Prophet ﷺ was ascended into the heavens. This new lighting system will illuminate the central areas inside the Dome of the Rock. Gain the reward of praying in Masjid Al-Aqsa and give today. Visit muslimhands.org.uk.
Revive FM
94.0. On the radio.
On your mobile.
And online.
And welcome back to the Mahtab Aziz Celebrity Lawyer Show. Before the break, we had Alwyn Jones, a very talented fashion photographer. And we now have Naomi back again with us. Great to have you back, Naomi.
Yes,
and
now back with Naomi Galloway-Smith. Hello, Yashmani Pani.
Hello.
You've got what we call a double-barreled surname.
Yes.
Apparently, if you have a double-barreled surname, that means you used to own plenty of land in the English countryside.
Oh my, I don't know about that, but
all right, sure.
Well, into these journey of ever-changing times in which we live in. Naomi, we were talking when you first came on at the head of the show, designer, up-and-coming model, creative, writing code, into gaming. Now, I want to take this gaming question because I'm a complete neophyte. I want to ask that as a code writer and what you do, how does that influence NFTs?
Sorry, if I could just ask you to put your mic just below your chin, if that's okay, just below your chin. That's
Yeah.
great. Thank you.
How does that go into this new world of NFTs?
Well, that's a big question because I'm quite new to the coding in area because at university.
In your opinion, so outside of not actually writing the code per se, it's what you experience in uni, in this NFT world of this pixelated cat going across the screen, selling for 36.2 million pounds.
Yeah.
What's your horizon say? What's going on with what you're studying at uni, and how do you take, as a model, as a designer, as a writer, analog, what's happening in NFT in your world?
NFT to us, especially as game developers, it's more of a cryptocurrency, but in the art world. So for us, it's an interesting experience. It's different. It's something that I'd say we've never seen before. It's taken like Nyan Cat, which is a well-known, I'd say, meme, if not game video on the internet from maybe about 2010. That's been transformed into an NFT. And it's weird seeing something that you used to enjoy as a 10-year-old become this $1 million art. It's different. I wouldn't say it's bad. I wouldn't say it's good. It's just different.
Well, here's a question. You said a second ago, cryptocurrency world. So now what you're doing, and what you just said is a 10-year-old into a cryptocurrency world is, I did something for 50 pence, $1, $2, and now it's like a gazillion.
Yeah.
There must be something that you have to follow.
It's
You're
true, yeah.
You're encouraged.
Yeah.
Yes. How would you do it? How would you share to the global audience, on what
we think of the
Yes.
NFTs?
people should follow you and what they can do? Hell, I'm going to follow you.
It's like, it's more of your uniqueness. I feel like NFTs are a brand of what you can do and what you are capable of. And the fact that NFTs are rising, I personally watch streamers like H3 Productions who actually brought me into the light of how NFTs are growing. I didn't think it was going to be that big of a thing, but it's grown massively.
Right.
We've got iconic Disney pieces which have been turned into 3D movement animation NFTs that have sold for millions of dollars.
Sure.
Do you think it's a fad, or is it like the wild, wild web?
The wild, wild web.
So, okay. Yeah. Yes, because I remember my days in Web 1.0. We would, when I was working with Spike, a website for Toyota was $500,000.
Yeah.
There was no code. There was no ATMs. There was no mobiles. There was no nothing. And we help invent, as Matt, that I've shared with you in the past, we help invent QuickTime. There was nothing. So you're finding this now in your generation, in your genre of what we had back in the day. Now it's almost like your early days of what you're experiencing.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay. Well, going back to my days now and your days opening up, are you proposing, looking at, changing, sorting? Said, how do you take your analog, your segue into modeling, and your designer, and your up and coming, and what you've done as a gamer, and all that code? I'm intrigued to see how you can take all of that, couple it with my old school and the NFT world. How do you see it? That's an open question, I know.
Yeah.
How do you see it really going forward?
The answer is, I don't know. The way life works is
Keep coding.
unpredictable.
Keep coding.
Do what you want to do. If it's 2 different careers, 3 different careers, go for it. Just continue with what you want to do.
Sure. Well, on that point, we have to end the show. Excellent, Naomi, really excellent having you today. Great to know about all your talents, and wish you all the best for the future.
Thank you so much.
With John at the helm, I'm sure you'll go far.
And yes, thank you, Muddy Panda. Quite. Yes, thank you.
Great. Thank you very much. That's all for today. That's the Mahtab Aziz Celebrity Lawyer show for today, and hopefully we'll be back next week with John.
See you then.
See you then.
God bless everyone. Travel safe. Don't sneeze.
Good evening. Bye.
Through your hands,